102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:34. And the Foo Fighters with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's going to be a pretty decent day today. A mix of sun and clouds, a high of 48. Could be a little bit warmer, but partly cloudy tonight, low at 28. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer, cloudy, high of 52. 30 degrees right now in downtown Springfield. Mike Quincy from Consumer Reports is going to be on the phone with us. We're going to talk about cars and how these tariffs are affecting the price of them and other stuff, too, and some other stuff along the way as well. Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield Classic Rock. It's 5:54 in Aerosmith with Bax and Nagle. Oh, geez, on Rock 102.
What are you doing over there?
I have no idea what just happened.
It's going to be sunny today with a high of 46. It is 28 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
You know, John Krasinski is People Magazine's sexiest man alive. But when it's time to pass the torch, could his successor be
Steve Nagle?
No, Jack Black.
Oh, yeah. Jack Black.
Yeah, People staffer named Rachel McRady has made it her mission to make that happen. She says, quote, "The man is a triple threat who can sing, dance, and act his face off. He's got the moves of a jungle cat, absolutely genius comedic timing, and that signature devilish grin."
The man's a goblin.
Well, that doesn't mean he's not sexy to somebody.
Yeah, but if you're going to win the sexiest man alive, it's got to be like generally assumed that you're a relatively sexy dude. He is no more sexy than you or I.
She even thinks he's a superior love interest to Jude Law in the romantic flick The Holiday. Oh, now you're just crazy talking.
Now you're just adding information that probably has no bearing in the truth at all.
She also notes that he's a devoted family man. He's awesome to his fans, and he does a lot of charity work. Last year's Sexiest Man Alive was announced mid-November, so there's time for the campaign to take hold, and man, do I hope it does. Actually, I could care less, but I hope it does.
Is this the same kind of box stuffing type of thing that you might see, say, like in the Best of the Valley Advocate Awards?
Yeah, probably.
I'll tell you what, if Monte Belmonte winds up becoming the sexiest man alive, well, I'm going to have to protest.
He doesn't have that much pull. He'll come in at number 2.
Behind Brian Lapis and Wesley Days.
Right. No, Wesley Days will be number 3, and then Brian Lapis. You got to go by the numbers that we got this year. Let's see. As much as Ryan Seacrest loves Wheel of Fortune, it appears he loves Wheels of Cheese even more. Last week on the show, Ryan revealed that his new favorite festival is the Gloucestershire Cheese Rolling Festival, because of course it is. There was a bunch of people, that's where a bunch of people chase a cheese wheel down a hill, and whoever gets it wins.
Now, where is this?
Gloucestershire.
Is it possible that you could stand at the bottom of the hill and just accept the wheels of cheese? Because I would do that.
You could. Ryan decided to give it a try, so Vanna White rolled out a fake giant wheel of cheese across the studio floor so Ryan could chase it, and he did either purposely dove or wiped out trying to grab it. It looked like maybe a little bit of both. Whether it was fake or not, it was hilarious and totally worth the watch of Wheel of Fortune. You know, that Jeopardy guy is going to be in here this week. The guy that was from Agawam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd he do?
I don't think he did that well because he's coming in here. Because usually if you got to keep something a secret about how the outcome of a show turned out, and you're winning, usually you can't be available for public appearances.
I don't want to make the assumption that he lost in a humiliating fashion, so we're just going to have to wait until he gets here to ask them those kinds of questions.
That's right. 53-year-old Walton Goggins has been in the business for a while, but after being in the latest season of The White Lotus, he's finally getting the attention he deserves. And yes, he's aware of his female fan base who call themselves Goggins girlies. Ooh. On the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, he said, quote, "Do I feel this moment? I feel that there's an energy out there that is one of like the undulation of love. And that feels really, really good. I'm doing the best I can to reciprocate it because it's such affection and genuine gratitude that I have for all the support from so many people in various walks of life. I love doing what I do. You know what? I love being an effing human being.
That's awesome.
Do you like this guy?
I like Walden Goggins. I like all those Danny McBride shows he's on.
Yeah. Well, but is he good in the White? You said you watched this White Lotus thing, right?
Yeah. Actually, he is very good.
Yeah.
More of a dramatic role for the guy than say like Vice Principals or Righteous Gemstones.
Yes, Righteous Gemstones. That was a good one. I like that one.
You like that one?
Yeah.
I don't know why I find Danny McBride so damn funny. I can't understand it because he's playing the same role every single time he acts in anything.
He's still the baseball guy?
No, he's not a baseball guy now.
Yeah.
In Righteous Gemstones, he's an evangelist.
Right, but he's the same.
It's the same character. It's just putting him in a different set of circumstances.
It's crazy to think there was ever a time in Green Day history that someone would think they were a boy band. They almost weren't the opening band on the second half of the Lollapalooza tour in 1994 because of Perry Farrell. Stage manager at the time said Perry never pushed back or vetoed a band except for Green Day. He was like, they're a boy band. I don't want to book a boy band. He obviously changed his mind, but it took the stage manager to convince him. Billy Joe Armstrong says Perry was, quote, an effing a-hole straight up. For us, it was disappointing because Perry was someone that we really respected. I think that made us want to play Lollapalooza even more, actually, because we wanted to prove that he had his head so far up his own butt. And here he is, years later, playing the same damn song on Rock 102 every other hour.
Well,
he's having the time of his life.
Based upon what we've seen the last 12 months, I'd say he's probably right about Perry Farrell being somewhat of an a-hole.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know. Trying to beat the crap out of his guitar player on stage in Boston? That was probably a bad move career-wise.
Listen, we listen and we don't judge, Bax. You can't judge a guy just by one violent, outrageous incident that happened on a stage that
people spent money on.
Piggybacked many more other outrageous things that he did throughout his entire career. You can't just judge him on those.
You're right.
I
suppose that if I had spent that kind of money to see one of my favorite bands come back and perform, only to have it end in a violent and atrocious way, I'm sure I'd accept that very easily without any complaint.
John Bon Jovi and his wife Dorothea opened a temporary location for their John Bon Jovi Soul Kitchen at the Ocean County Library in Toms River, New Jersey, and the mayor is not happy about it.
Kind of surprised they didn't open up at the old Ramitos, where we get French toast every 3 or 4 days.
Well, that's what he wanted to do over there. If you haven't heard about these soul kitchens, they provide meals at lower prices, and those in need can put in some hours in exchange for their food. The kitchen also helps people find jobs, housing, mental health support, and others. But Mayor Daniel Rotter calls it a day shelter and soup kitchen and says it's drawing homeless people to the area. I don't know if you ever been to Toms River, New Jersey, but it ain't that great to begin with.
Seems to me that clientele's a step up.
John Bon Jovi did him a favor. And Kim Kardashian has so many pictures taken of her daily between poses, selfies, and paparazzi pics that it's believed to be well over 100 normally and over 1,000 on busy days.
Wow.
She takes.
Because that's something to say.
Oh, my God. The last time I put my ankles behind my head and said cheese was when Ray J gave me a photo splat and overexposed me in his Spoogie film in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
Kaylin?
Well, I never got that done and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but you once saddled up for mustache rides to Gashville. That strange was swallowing my face like a bicycle seat.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is there was some risk of suffocation. We had a safe word, but all your mother could hear was That's the safe word.
Yeah, that's a good safe word.
And that's your Hollywood Trash on Rock 102. Oh.
From the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, remember last year when the Yukon Husky won the men's NCAA college basketball tournament for the second year in a row? Well, I certainly do. Back then, you had more than 15 people arrested for various illegal activities. You had everything. 3 counts of disorderly conduct, 4 counts of interfering with police, 1 count of reckless burning, 69 counts of forgery from fake IDs, 2 counts of reckless endangerment, and 16 people sent to a local hospital. You know how many people were busted or injured or after the UConn women won their 12th NCAA championship over the weekend? According to my exhaustive research, not one. Now, maybe some of you UConn fans may have gotten used to all these victory celebrations over the years, but in my opinion, I think women's basketball is just as deserving of the same level of destruction of personal property and vandalism as anybody else. And the fact that such arrestable offenses are apparently only worth doing when the men are winning championships shows a certain level of misogynistic sexism that I personally find offensive. You know, with the growth of women's basketball over the last couple of years, you would think that we would be all willing to exercise our toxic masculinity for all of college sports, regardless of gender roles. But I guess that's just simply not the case. Apparently, some of you UConn students have been spoiled by your success, even though the last time the UConn women won a championship was in 2016, 9 years ago, back when many of you graduating seniors were just 12 years old. Well, I'll tell you what. If any of my college sports teams won a championship, I'd be out setting trash receptacles on fire faster than you can say, hold my beer. I don't care if it's basketball or football or field hockey. Something's getting lit up that night, and it wouldn't have just been me. Sure, there's still a victory celebration scheduled for Saturday, but at that point, it's just a little bit too late. Sure, you may be able to get away with being drunk and disorderly, but by then the moment will have passed and the impulse would be gone. And frankly, I think you people should be ashamed of yourselves. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Steel, the orange and white workhorse. Get spring steel deals now at Rocky's. Save $30 on a string trimmer. Or get a steel backpack blower, a steel chainsaw. And there's a certified steel technician at every Rocky's Ace Hardware location. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Springfield's classic rock at 6:15 and Queen with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be sunny today with a high of 46. Tomorrow, clouds with a high of 51. It's 28 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hell of a show. We got Mike Quincy from Consumer Reports joining us a little bit later on this morning. Also, Bob Kane Alves from Throttle Rocket magazines. And we'll be talking to him about Bike Night, which is coming up pretty soon.
The guy with 3 names.
And people have only known him by 2, except after he left radio, and now he's a 3-name guy.
Well, he was Bob Kane on the radio, and now he's Bob Kane Alves.
Because Kane was never his real name.
What?
I know.
Kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is Bax and Nagle your real name?
I wouldn't make something like that up.
No. A couple of things here. Well, first of all, we were just talking off the air. I saw this TikTok video yesterday, and you obviously saw it too. It was a Carol Brady was from Swampscott, Massachusetts.
And there's a video where she's sitting down with
Mike
Brady, and she's explaining that she is originally from Massachusetts. I had no recollection of that whatsoever. As many times as I have seen the Brady Bunch over and over again, no recollection whatsoever.
Yeah. Imagine being a kid with a lisp from Swampscott, Massachusetts.
Can't even imagine how difficult that would be.
And then I posed the question. I'm like, what happened to her first husband? They never really touched on that.
Yeah, and you suggested that maybe she killed him.
Yeah, maybe she backed into him in front of a house in Canton on a drunken rage. On a night of a snowstorm. Why do you think they were always covering up the back of that station wagon?
I have no idea. Anyone check the tail light on that thing?
Yeah, Sam the Butcher had tail light pieces in his meat case.
Well, what do you expect? She had 15 Cosmos, and the night kind of got away from her.
You got to keep on. Whatever the words of the song are.
Oh, I'm sure she did leave a whole bunch of voicemails on her cell phone. She probably stopped by like a payphone, kept putting nickels into the machine.
Probably, yeah. You son of a bitch!
I hate you!
I hate you!
You pivot!
See, she couldn't have done it. She was calling him, leaving horrible voicemails at 20 minutes after she dropped him off.
Now, I don't know how that happened because they didn't even have answering machines back in the 70s, but who knows? Maybe they left her with his paging service.
You could have. And speaking of answering machines, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just talking to Lufkin yesterday. First of all, I won the men's basketball bracket tournament pool here at Rock 102.
Well, before you get to full of yourself, you didn't win the actual thing. we had a prize for the person that came in last.
Right, and I came in dead last, and I won. That's still winning. Whether you want to see it that way or not.
What was the prize again?
I won a Now That's What I Call Yacht Rock 2 CD. Now, here's the thing. There's not a CD player in this building. Did you know that?
There's one right here.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't really work that well.
It works. I use it all the time.
You do?
Sure.
Maybe that's why it didn't work.
Yeah, I jammed it up with gum.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one over there in the other studio doesn't work. It's not something we use all the time. So
No.
they did away with a lot of those units.
Unit.
And I was talking to Lufkin, the sound guy here, and he goes, "Are you gonna keep that?" And I
Was he
"Well,
trying to haggle with you?
Well, I think he wanted it, so I wound up giving it to him because he looked like he could use it more than I could. And I'm like, I can get all these songs on Spotify anyway. I have a Spotify membership, so I can get these songs. You know, it was all like Eric Carmen all by myself.
Oh, that's a
and
good one.
REO Speedwagon,
Oh,
keep on loving you, and
Any ambrosia?
not on that one. No,
Wow.
no ambrosia on that one. It was more. What the hell was the other one that was on there? It was
Pablo Cruz?
Sundown from Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then, which led me to the conversation about answering machines. And my dad, back in the 80s, when we got an answering machine, he wound up picking up this hilarious cassette tape. And it was all these parody songs of pop songs that were turned into answering machine messages. One was Gilligan's Island, and, it was Gilligan and the Skipper telling you to leave a message, that kind of thing.
We're not home, little buddy.
Yeah, and then one of them was a parody of Gordon Lightfoot's Sundown, and it said, "Sometimes I think it's a shame when you don't leave your number and you don't leave your name." All that great stuff that was made back in the 1980s, and it's just gone by the way of the dinosaur.
That's fantastic.
It's too bad.
Oh,
it really is too bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. What did you win? Did you win? You won didn't you win the tournament?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, somebody else won.
I think somebody else eventually beat me, but I'm not sure who.
Because you were the top.
I was, but then I messed up the finals. I had Duke and Auburn in the finals, and then at that point, someone could. I didn't even look at it because I was like so disappointed. So I don't even know who won.
You didn't even have Florida in the
No.
in the final thing.
I had them in the Final Four. I had
Yeah.
Florida and Houston, but I picked Duke and Auburn to advance, and that didn't happen.
Well, either way, I was a winner.
Wow, look at
And you can
you.
go on the Rock 102 TikTok page and see me sing some of those hits.
And how generous are you to just give that away to any slob in the building that wants a CD?
Not just a slob who wanted to listen to Now That's What I Call Yacht Rock 2. A slob that wanted to experience Now That's What I Call Yacht Rock 2. Like, he really seemed like kind of like bummed that I had that CD. And I turned around and I gave it to him. Because that's the kind of guy I am.
Well, you mean you don't want an office full of people who are all jealous and stuff.
And mostly the fact that I don't even have a CD player in my car anymore. Does anybody?
In the car?
Yeah,
No.
there's not too many of those anymore.
I had to buy one for the house.
Did you?
Yeah, I had an old one that was like a 6-disc changer.
Ooh.
with the revolving thing.
Oh, roll out the red carpet for Musical Mike. Look at this.
Yeah, and the interview that I did on the podcast with this guy Lauren Molinaire, I got a copy of the brand new CD. The publicist sent it to me.
Yeah.
I put it in the machine, and the machine ate the CD.
Oh my God.
Couldn't get it out. It was stuck. I tried everything. Couldn't get that damn thing out. So that CD wound up costing me like $260 for a brand new component for my stereo.
You know you can buy them at Savers now.
Yeah, I know that, but
Yeah.
I kind of
$5.
I kind of wanted one that I knew was going to work for a while.
Yeah.
because I actually do still use it.
Well, go to the thrift store next time. Pick up a better one.
If you would want a CD player,
Yeah.
then I would have haggled with you.
You would have haggled.
I would have haggled.
Well, he wasn't haggling. He was just he
Was he moping around?
He
Like,
just-
I wish I had that.
Oh,
Kicking
yeah.
a dented can down the hallway.
Oh man, You're so lucky, Nagle. You win all the good stuff.
Those morning guys get all the good stuff. First, they get a coffee machine for nothing. Then they get a little fridge, a mini fridge for nothing. And now Steve Nagle gets a CD I really want.
And you're the cake czar. So I gave it to him. He's happy now.
It's 623 at Rock 102.
Hi, Jeff Sir.
Member FDIC.
It's 625 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown should have the full forecast for you.
Hey, Dan Williams going to have tickets for you to see Heart coming to the Agnes Arena in Boston on Sunday, April 13th. My God, that's right around the corner. And
this weekend.
I know. And Dan wants to send you the show. We'll have a pair of tickets to give away. For more details, go to rock102.com/concerts and find out everything you need to know about Heart coming to Boston.
There you go.
Okay.
Ready to laugh?
I am ready to laugh.
Here you go.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's classic rock.
You know, Jesus isn't going out drinking this weekend.
Oh, no?
Yeah. But next weekend, he's going to get hammered. You get that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because it's Easter.
Didn't I tell you my claim to fame was playing one of the Roman guards in the Station of the Cross who got to hammer one of the nails into Jesus?
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting story.
And here I am.
Now making jokes about it.
I'm a co-host of a morning radio show in a mediocre market.
Bax and
56 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
It's just about 6:30 with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-in bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. There's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Well, thanks, Bax. One of two people accused in connection with the deadly crash in Chicopee was in court on Tuesday. The crash happened back in February when a woman was walking on Abbey Memorial Drive when she was struck and killed. The woman, 34-year-old Vanessa Perez of Springfield, died due to her injuries. Police say two separate cars were involved in the crash that killed her, one plow truck and the other a sedan. On Tuesday, 29-year-old Levanta Williams Jr. of Chicopee was charged with leaving the scene of a personal injury and death accident. Williams was arraigned on that charge in Chicopee District Court. Williams was allegedly the driver of the sedan. The judge set Williams' bail at $2,500, which his attorney said he was able to post. The other driver charged in connection in the case is 23-year-old Jerameldo Lopez of South Hadley, is scheduled to be arraigned today. There was an FBI presence up in Hadley yesterday. Federal agents are investigating a home on Hockenham Road. FBI spokesperson Kristen Sotera. Peter Sotera?
I don't think they're related.
Evidence response team is conducting a court-authorized activity. That activity is taking place at the home at 108 Hockenham Drive, where the 22 News crew could see vehicles filled with federal agents lining the driveway. Oh, my God. He's got one of those jackets on. It says FBI on the back. Must be crazy in there.
If this investigator had been, if this person had been related to Peter Cetera,
Yeah.
do you think it would be hard for him to say he's sorry?
It could very well be. It could very well be.
Just throwing it out there.
22 News also saw investigators in head-to-toe white suits. Hadley Police Lieutenant Mitch Cook noted that the investigation is not... Mitch Cook? Is he the guy that just kind of sits in the corner in the chair and watches everybody do the investigation?
Cook. He's the one who makes lunch.
That's K-U-C. I think that would be Cook.
Oh, I think you're right then. I take that back.
He's a cuck. Where's the cuck chair when you walk into the police station?
Right next...
Yeah.
It's right next to the coffee table.
Yeah, he's bringing the chair. He's sitting outside the investigation. He's like, ooh, look at that.
I'm just going to sit here and watch you guys work.
Look at that investigation going on in there, huh?
I'm going to sit here and watch you guys get busy.
The investigation is not related to an immigration or deportation matter.
Then why are the feds involved?
I don't know. Well, the FBI, I don't know. Maybe they're looking for something, and they're in white suits.
Are these like hazmat suits, or are these like white three-piece type of vested suits that have been tailored, say, like at a Men's Warehouse?
No, it's not like a Cab Calloway type of.
It's not like
tuxedo.
Steve Martin's suit from the 70s.
Right.
Okay.
These are protective suits from something. Maybe there's some materials going on there that they need to protect.
Because I'm not sure you're supposed to wear white before Memorial Day. I don't know if that rule still applies to FBI agents, but for the rest of us, it sure does.
Yeah, that's true. You're not supposed to wear, was it brown? Brown after? Oh, no.
It's you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day.
Oh, right.
And I think after Memorial Day, you can start wearing, white clothing again. Or maybe it's like Easter. I don't know. But we're still not in the real thick of spring yet.
What foo-foo made that rule up?
Some jerk. I have no idea.
I
I follow trends of fashion. Look at me.
I wear white all year long. A woman who was on the phone with a con artist instructing her to deposit $4,000 in a Bitcoin machine was saved from his scheme after the store clerk alerted police. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are commonly used in schemes as they are one of the hardest to trace and one of the most anonymous, which makes it very hard for someone to get their money back. In a news release from the South Hadley Police Department last Friday, a detective with the South Hadley Police walked into the Cumberland Farms when a clerk told him they suspected that a woman at the Bitcoin machine was currently the victim of a scheme. When the South Hadley police detective spoke with the woman, she said that she was on the phone with someone asking to put $4,000 into the Bitcoin machine. The detective advised her not to do so as she was attempting to create a PIN on the machine. The woman told the detective that a man on the phone called her earlier and would not let her get off the phone. The con artist instructed the woman to withdraw $4,000 from her bank, and if anyone questioned her, to tell him it was for a trip. The woman said the man was on the phone with the entire time and gave her directions to the Bitcoin machine inside Cumberland Farms. Detectives was able to divert the scheme and save the woman $4,000. If you get a phone call from someone demanding payment in crypto or Bitcoin, hang up immediately. You should always confirm with your family before sending any money.
Well, now you tell me.
You know what? I find it a little irresponsible on the part of the convenience stores to even have these things in there. How many people are sending Bitcoin back and forth to each other in such a high volume that you need them, that you have this need for a machine? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm just being ignorant on this because maybe I don't get involved in something that involves Bitcoin trade.
I don't mean to cast any negativity on a locally owned or regionally owned business.
I do,
but if I'm gonna if I'm gonna make substantial financial moves,
yeah,
okay, that investments or what have you get involved in Bitcoin, the very last place I'm going to go to do it is at a Cumberland Farms.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If I'm going to get involved in Bitcoin, I'd rather go through like a qualified financial planner or like a brokerage house or something like that. I'm not going to go to the Circle K or say like even a Pride station and say, hey, could you give me a bunch of scratchies? And how about some Bitcoin while you're at it too?
Yeah.
It's not where I'm going to go.
I've never picked up some Bitcoin with my... here's the real scheme going on at Cumberland Farms. 99-cent coffee is now $1.49 or whatever it is. It's not 99 cents anymore, which that's an outrage.
It's that damn tariff from Colombia, when they source the beans from Juan Valdez. He's really getting caught up in this whole international thing.
Yeah, but this happened long before tariffs were put in place.
Oh, well, then I take that back.
And frankly, I have to bring a little instant cafe. If I get a coffee from Cumberland Farms, I have to bring a little packet of Cafe Bustelo Instant to make it stronger.
Wow. The Cafe Bustelo. I know. Listen.
All
having
of
had
my
your coffee for the last couple of weeks, that is high test, high octane, sliceable coffee.
Yeah, I like it like that.
Wow.
I don't know how you not like it like that. What's the point of drinking coffee if you might as well drink tea?
I like it scaled back a little bit. I don't mind strong coffee, but at some point I can feel it eating the insides of my guts.
You know what this is? This is all part of my addictive personality.
Yes.
Years ago when I was a young man, when I didn't have any money going into a bar with some friends, you'd bring a little extra thing with you so you could pour it into the drink.
Sure.
I'm not paying those high prices at an establishment that's there to make money off me.
I can see you putting real double espressos in a flask.
Yeah, that's the way to go, man.
Yeah. So, like, if you have to have coffee somewhere, you just knock down a few extra shots of espresso.
It's like yesterday.
Like a turbo. You have to like turbo shots in a flask.
I didn't get a chance to make coffee yesterday before I left the house, and so I made it here. And by the end of the show, then I was wide awake.
Why? Yeah, by the end of the show, 9 o'clock at night, you were still wide awake.
Right, exactly. That's the conundrum I live in, Bax.
It's not a complaint, just an observation.
Here's some good news. The much talked about potential Target store at the Springfield Crossing development is becoming a reality. Target filed paperwork with the Hampden County Registry of Deeds last week. The retailer paid $175,000 for the parcel of land at the Boston Road site, which was formerly at the home of the Eastfield Mall. Imagine that, $175,000 for a giant store to pay for that parcel, and how much money you bring in from a Target.
Think of all that great new retail that's going to go down there to replace all that great retail that used to be down there.
Finally, a place where you can buy yoga pants and gallons of hummus and live, laugh, love signs right here in Springfield.
Yeah, there's also going to be the BJ's, too.
Yeah.
Usually, if you want to get a BJ's on Boston Road, you got to head towards the Walmart.
Yeah, but it's a lot cheaper than what they're charging inside that big box store.
True. That is true.
You know, I believe outside of the old Pep Boys is where you could get a... That was a BJ's membership in itself.
No kidding.
Yeah. The Eastfield Mall has been closed for over 2 years. The project, which is expected to cost $65 to $85 million, will bring other retailers to the development, including BJ's, PetSmart, Skechers, and Hobby Lobby. Mayor Domdom says, when you have the major draws there, now all of a sudden you have bodies there. And I'm talking about the bodies that were buried previously underneath the old Eastfield Mall. But now you have live bodies walking into the Target.
Right.
With money to spend, which brings economic development and revenue, not only to the area, but to the city of... there you go.
Yeah, let me get that
There
for
you
you.
go. City of Springfield. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad it's finally not me.
I didn't mean to say that.
It happens, Steve. You're a human being. What do you expect?
That'll be on the podcast, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's not regulated.
You'll be able to hear it in its entirety.
Developers have also included a Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, and BJ's, all of which are confirmed for the site. However, not all stores and restaurants on the blueprints have been confirmed. Whether you're looking forward to leisure or convenience, you won't have to wait much longer. Some of the businesses could be open before Thanksgiving.
Well, that would be terrific.
Yeah.
You know, say like if the BJ's were open before Thanksgiving, that would make it so much easier to buy your stuff for the Mayflower Marathon.
Yeah.
And drop it off.
The BJ's.
The BJ's.
I wouldn't necessarily buy anything from Target because you're not getting the big bang for your buck.
Well, is Target going to be one of them super Targets that's got the grocery store inside?
It could be, but
because they got that in Holyoke.
Yeah, I know, but the groceries are expensive over there.
It's not that expensive.
Yes, they are. Have you ever shopped at the Target?
Yeah, I mean, not to do my grocery shopping, but to pick up a couple of impulse buys.
Impulse buy, yes. You want a creamer at the last minute, things like that. You can get that at the Target. But you're not spending, you're kind of throwing your money down the toilet if you're buying your whole week's worth of groceries at a Target. Who's got the money to do that?
I don't know. So it sounds like Angelo Pupolo's not going to get his Jersey Mike's over there, which he's been dreaming about.
No, but he's got a Target now. He can go FaceTime his cousin to ask him what shower curtain to buy while he's in the... Now, which one of these you think looks good in my dojo, huh? Do you like the clear one, or do you like the one with the rubber duckies on it? Because I like the one with the rubber duckies on it.
Angelo, the clear one is the shower curtain liner.
Oh, we don't need no liner. Who's getting sloppy seconds all over the shower curtain, and we need a liner? How much gobbledygook are you spraying off yourself that you need a liner to protect the real shower curtain?
Don't you know nothing about no showers? It's to prevent the shower curtain from coming into the shower.
Hey, oh! Live, laugh, love my ass.
Hey, did you realize it's already wine o'clock?
It's not a hangover. It's the wine flu.
My house was clean yesterday. Sorry you missed it.
I understand the concept of cooking and cleaning, but not as it applies to me.
I should just point out that Angelo Pupolo
He does not
sounds
talk like
nothing like
He
that
doesn't talk like that
at all.
But it is kind of funny to dream that he would. Don't you think?
He's just happy we're talking about him.
Hey, oh, wow, Pupolo. That should be his next campaign. You know, he starts running. You put those lawn signs up. Hey, oh, Pupolo. Yeah.
It's like when we saw him walk in the Holyoke St. Patrick's Day parade, and we called him Angel O'Pupolo.
Angelo, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You like that?
Yeah, he's a walking angel.
He is in so many ways.
Let's see. What's this other one? Police in Kentucky recently responded to calls about a naked man walking on a highway. When they found him, a cop asked him what he was up to, and he said, "I'm going to get some pants." He appeared to be under the influence of something and became disorderly, repeatedly kicking the door of the patrol car. He was ID'd as James K. King, and he was charged with indecent exposure, public intoxication, and disorderly conduct. He also had 6 outstanding warrants for stuff like public intoxication, criminal trespassing, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I think you would have to be high to walk down an interstate.
Well,
Completely naked.
If you needed pants.
Yeah, and you're only one exit up from the Kohl's.
Well, exactly.
Where do you hide the Kohl's cash, though, if you don't have any pockets?
There's only one place it can go.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
How bad do you need your pants?
Swinging like a pendulum as you're walking down the breakdown lane.
Mm-hmm.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today, sunny with a high of 46. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 51. It's 28 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and I'm sorry, I keep thinking about Angelo Pupolo. Hey! It's going to be a balmy day out there today. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean the Hobby Lobby ain't open on a Sunday? I do all my decoupage on a Sunday.
Oh, how am I supposed to get all the place settings for the big family dinner we're having this afternoon? You closed on Sunday.
Sunday is craft day at the Pupolo house.
You and the Chick-fil-A. Oofa.
We were going to make friendship bracelets.
Hey, well, yeah. Oh, we wanted to spell the word penis with all those letters inside the store. I saw Nagle do that on a TikTok. And that's the news on Rock 102. Sunny today with a high of 46. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 51. It is 28 right now in downtown Springfield.
Rock 102 wants to help you get your home improvement project done this year with Pick Your Project, brought to you by Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements. You could win $5,000 in cash, which you could use towards replacing your roof or skylights with Dave Miner. Heating, oil deliveries, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical services from Noonan Energy, water pumps, water filtration, and whatnot from Aqua Pump. Also putting some relaxation in your summer with 21st century pools and spas, plus septic tank pumping and Title V inspections for Linton Septic. Now, you may say, how could I possibly win $5,000 and get all that stuff? You sign up at rock102.com before noon on April 25th. One winner chosen at random. It could be you. Pick Your Project, brought to you by Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
You know, one of my favorite pastimes is calling you out for your nonsense.
Well, what I do now.
But I also like when other people do it for me.
Now what?
On the Route 10 Tire listener, Yankees are on a losing streak. Tell Bax it must be those bats he was complaining about them using earlier. He hasn't mentioned that at all lately.
Well, no, because now other teams are starting to use them as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, other teams are starting to incorporate torpedo bat technology.
Yeah, but you were complaining that the Yankees had this great advantage that they were using.
If they were going to be the only team using them, that's what I said. You people aren't paying attention to the words that pour out of my mouth.
Full of shit. I think you change your words when it's time to be faced with the truth.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Really.
You think I'm that transparent?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I do.
I think you're not listening well enough, because I'm pretty sure that I said it's unfair if the Yankees were the only team using them.
What did you
now
say?
They are no longer the only team using them.
What did you say?
See what I mean?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's exactly my point. You're
Did
not
you mention
listening
about the bats?
The torpedo bats.
Have we talked about the bats?
We have. We're also going to be talking to Mike Quincy in a few minutes. We're going to talk about cars and prices of cars and, whether you should, ditch your Tesla on the side of the road and set it on fire. I would say no, but other people might
Some
consider.
people want to do that.
Some people might want to do that. I'm not one of them, but that's, hey, what are you going to do?
I don't know what you're going to do. We're going to find out what you can afford now because of all these tariffs on the cars and all that stuff.
Or what you can't afford. And all that coming up in a little bit.
You should bring
with
back
Mike
the
Quincy.
Yugo. That was a go-get. Or the Reliant K car.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the Renault Le Car. That was a good one.
What was that?
That was a car that could go 0 to 60 right into a mechanic's work bay.
The original GPS. It just led you to a mechanic shop.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go get thousands of dollars in costly repairs.
It was like a divining rod for repairs.
I got my front end fixed on that on the van over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I was told, I remember how many times I hit that pothole, or I was hitting potholes all along Homestead Avenue.
Right.
I mean, the front end needed to be replaced anyway, but basically the ball that holds that thing together just went right through when he took it off.
Really?
Yeah, it was in pretty bad shape. It was in pretty bad shape. But people are going to be, they're not going to be able to afford a lot of vehicles coming up. So,
Consumer Reports talks about how you can still save money on a car in spite of the tariffs and what you should be doing. So there's a lot of real practical advice that Mike is going to share with you in just a little bit.
In a few minutes.
It's 6:58 on Rock 102.
Bax and Nagle.
Thank you, sir, man.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, as many of you know, Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont has announced that the victory parade for the Yukon Huskies have been scheduled for Saturday morning. As I'm sure you might recall from the last 11 victory parades, not counting the 6 times that the men have won the NCAA championships, the Yukon women will be paraded through the streets of Hartford while they will bask in the afterglow of their dominating performance against the South Carolina Gamecocks 82-59. Now, you might say, hey, Baxie, having missed the last 17 Yukon victory parades, I am not fully aware of where I should go. Could you take a moment from your valuable time and inform me and many others on such details so that we may also participate in this rare championship celebration? Well, let me see if I can help. According to the governor, the parade will start at the Capitol building at 11:30 on Trinity and Elm. Shoot north through a Memorial Arch, bang a right onto Jewel to Trumbull, hang a left and head to Asylum to the XL Center. Now, personally, I would have taken Trinity to Ford Street, walk past the intersection of Ford and Pearl, hang a right onto Asylum, and just walk up the street. Or take Jewel to Yosello and then crank down Asylum that way and get to the XL Center, which is simple. Probably shaves an extra 3 or 4 minutes off your drive. But if you want to go ahead and believe Governor GPS over here, then you go right ahead. You see, this is why I don't regularly go into Hartford. You can't get anyone to give you a decent set of directions, including the guy that runs the place. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. The Songbirds are back, and the song they're singing is, "Oh my God, I'm so damn hungry." Go to Rocky's for wild bird food. Buy one bag, get one free. Get suet cakes for $1.50. The birds are back in town. Keep them around with bird food that you got at Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's
To Springfield's classic rock. It's 7-11 and The Who on Rock 102.
Sunny today with a high of 46. It's 28 right now in downtown Springfield.
On the phone with us right now, always a pleasure. From Consumer Reports to talk to Mike Quincy. Good morning, Michael. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. How's it going today?
Good.
Good. At least our cars are being paid for. Not buying new ones anytime soon.
Yeah, steady employment helps.
Yeah, well, that does. Yeah, for now, let's not jinx anything.
So the latest article that you sent us here, how to save money buying a car even if prices go up due to tariffs. So tell us how you do that.
Well, in some ways, you do that by not doing that. I know it sounds like a complete contradiction, but with price uncertainty, going on right now, supply and demand going on right now. The whole world's in chaos right now. Perhaps the best advice is to hold on to your older car. Now, that's not possible for everyone, but usually the cost of repairing your old car is going to be less than the price of buying a new car. And the new car average price these days is an astounding $48,000. So maybe the best advice about buying a new car right now, or even a used car, is don't do it.
Now, one of the things that is mentioned in the article, and there's a couple of really interesting points. One, based on the way pricing is now and where it could head, because right now there's still a lot of hypotheticals out there and things are very unclear. The idea of leasing a car now, does that make more sense than going out and buying one?
It might, but leasing, getting the price of a lease is sort of just like getting the price of buying a new car. You can negotiate anything, but your lease payment is going to be based on what the dealer thinks your car will be worth at the end of the lease. And right now, for example, when the lease is over, it becomes a used car. Used car supplies right now are in very hot demand, mostly because still residual effects of COVID. From 2020 to 2022, not a lot of cars were manufactured. Usually this is a time when cars would be coming off lease, and so it's possible that your leased car can be worth a lot more than they thought it would. I think that you sit in the catbird seat right now as you signed a lease before the election, and now you're at the end of your lease. Your car is going to be worth more than they thought. So you really still have to look at how much you're going to be putting out. And again, a lease is negotiable.
What about like Ford Motor Company doing this whole employee pricing thing? How do they get away with doing that?
Well, they get away with doing that because auto manufacturers can set prices to whatever they want them to be. Employee pricing was a thing, 10, 15 years ago. It's just kind of another gimmick to lure people into the dealers. And you have to really look at the fine print, and that if you're going to get employee pricing, that means you might qualify for manufacturing financing. But to qualify for really good manufacturing financing, you have to have perfect credit and blah blah blah. So you really have to look at that closely. I mean, it is going to be an interesting dance these next few weeks or months or years.
From what I don't really understand a whole lot about this whole tariff system and whatnot, and I don't, paint myself as some sort of financial expert. But what I do know is even if cars are assembled here in the country, like a Ford or a Chevy or whatever, you still have all these parts that come from other places. So that's
right.
What drives up the price of a vehicle, because you're not. Just because the thing is assembled in Detroit doesn't mean that the parts that made that thing, or even the machines that put the car together, are made from parts that come from China or Japan or wherever else that they're experiencing these things.
No, you're 100% right, and it is complicated. I mean, just from the basics, tariffs are another name for taxes charged to companies on products they import from other countries. But it has to do, cars and parts manufactured outside of the U.S. But as you mentioned, the parts are coming from all over the place. And you think that, I'm going to buy an American car that's manufactured here. For example, the Tesla Model 3 is manufactured in California, but 40% of its part content comes from China. So it will be subject to part of the tariff. It is complicated when you're thinking about a vehicle's kind of country of origin and where the car is manufactured. And this will throw everybody for a loop. The Honda Prologue, again, the manufacturer's name is Honda. They're from Japan. The Honda Prologue is an electric vehicle from a Japanese company. It's assembled in Mexico on a General Motors platform. You got that? Mm-hmm. The Chevrolet Trax is a small SUV from an American company, Chevrolet, manufactured in Korea. The BMW X3 a luxury vehicle from a German manufacturer is built in South Carolina. So it's super, super complicated.
So let's try to. I mean, obviously, you can't talk about tariffs without having me get very, very complex and in some ways political. But let's take a couple of assumptions here. So the tariff is being set by international governments that manufacturers have to deal with wherever they sell cars. Let's assume just for a moment that our policy here on tariffs is right. Let's just assume that, and let's assume that all these countries, and allegedly reports are there as many as 70 countries, have come to the United States and said, let's negotiate a new tariff deal that makes sense for both of us. And let's say Japan, for example, is able to negotiate a deal with Donald Trump that says, okay, we will lower our tariff on U.S. goods if you lower your this implied reciprocal tariff on our goods. And then all of a sudden we're able to start investing in manufacturing in U.S., building parts in the U.S. In the short term, it makes sense that things would increase in price. But in the long term, if these things are temporary and negotiations and deals can be made, what happens then to the pricing of cars? Are we still talking about something that is where companies are still going to charge top dollar, but there's just not an additional tax being placed by tariffs? I mean, will companies change their pricing simply because there's a new deal set?
The answer is maybe, maybe not. Let's say that things, because as you know, everything is in flux. Everything is changing. You have part of the current administration saying, these are the tariffs, that's just the way it is, and it's not negotiable. You have other people in the administration saying, no, the tariffs are negotiable, and we're going back and forth. Well, if you are a manufacturer and you're trying to make plans, you can't plan if it might be this way or it might be that way. Plus, keep in mind that right now, these tariffs are done by executive order. Executive orders end after the administration is out of the office. So if you're a car manufacturer, like, okay, well, maybe we should build a company, a manufacturing plant in the United States. It's going to take more than 4 years to do that anyway. So the automakers really look long term. I mean, it takes a long time to design a car, more or less design a manufacturing facility. And this is the same kind of stuff that's been going on since the 1970s. There was a big pushback against Japan in the 70s and 80s, and the argument was, well, if you're going to sell them here, you have to build them here. So the Japanese company said, okay, and Honda has been operating plants in the United States, specifically Ohio, for a long time. Toyota manufactures cars in Indiana. Toyota has an enormous truck plant in San Antonio, Texas. So it's like we have an international community in terms of the automotive world, and
right.
It isn't so protectionist, and it isn't so we're going to put up walls around us. I mean, one of the reasons that American cars don't sell very well in Japan is, number one, the price of gas is really, really high. The amount of parking is very limited. The roads are narrower. I mean, America generally doesn't make vehicles that are big sellers in other parts of the world just for those reasons.
Well, but and just to play devil's advocate here, there is an argument out there that even if they were to modify those things, that the tariff against U.S. goods going into Japan, for example, is so high that no one would buy an American vehicle because they're just too expensive to operate.
Well, it's complicated. I hear what you're saying. I understand kind of the argument. But you have to sell something that people want, and it's like they have these micro cars in Japan. They're not big. Microcars are not big sellers in the United States,
right?
Regardless of tariffs, regardless of pricing, because it's not what Americans want. American roads are bigger. American parking spots are bigger. Right now, the price of fuel is a lot less than most of the world. And when the price of fuel goes down, Americans tend to buy bigger cars. They buy trucks. I mean, F-150 pickup truck is like the number one selling make and model over the last 30 years. And that you can't sell those in other parts of the world.
I would think that the bigger, more complicated issue here, besides just the tariffs, but everything is connected to everything when it comes to the economy. So, like, if you're talking about cars, and let's say I have an accident and I have to replace a car, my car just dies, and I have to get a new one, I still may need to get a bank loan to afford a car, and banks react to what's going on in the economy. So, what is that going to mean for car loans and for interest rates on those loans?
It's probably going to go up.
Yeah,
because the value of the dollar is fluctuating. So interest rates are going to be fluctuating, and so it's going to cost you more money to buy a new car, to get a bank loan. It's also going to cost you more money for your insurance, because if the parts of your car, you get in an accident, your insurance company comes in and it fixes your car, all those parts are going to become more expensive too. Before the current administration implemented a lot of these tariffs, the U.S. manufacturer was already reacting. The CEO of Ford said, if we go through these tariffs, it's going to blow a hole in the U.S. auto industry. So it isn't. You can talk about domestic bliss all you want, but it's affecting everyone, and it's turning things into chaos where it wasn't chaotic before. The U.S. manufacturing in the auto sector was on a really good upswing post COVID, and now everything has been thrown into chaos.
So, could you would you consider or recommend bubble wrap technology around your car to make sure that you don't total your car in any kind of accident or mishap?
Well, yeah, one of the ways is to lower your repair costs is to really concentrate on your driving. Don't get distracted by your phone. Don't fiddle with your radio and your climate system while you're in the left-hand lane going 70 miles an hour. Drive carefully, protect your car, maintain your car. Everyone that's listening right now is just go to your car, open up the glove box, look in your owner's manual as to the factory maintenance schedule, and stick to that. It's not what the dealer tells you to do. It's what the company who made your car is saying to do. The oil changes at this interval, the timing belt at this interval. Make sure you're changing your filters. Make sure that your tires are up to date and properly inflated. Do all these little things to keep your car running well, because dollar for dollar over time, that's the cheapest way to drive, is to keep your old car running.
What about the washer fluid?
The washer fluid's
exactly.
fine.
The washer fluid is not fine. Well, what an uplifting conversation, Mike. I appreciate you coming on this morning.
Yeah, I wish I had better news for you, but the idea is you go out and you get the best car you can. You go to Consumer Reports, whether you're buying a new car or used car, you become a subscriber, you look up reliability information, you look up safety equipment. We have all these lists on best cars for teenagers, best used cars for certain all these pricing intervals, whether you can spend $5,000 or $20,000, the best pickup trucks, the best SUVs. We've got all these lists of the best vehicles that will fit your needs. And now more than ever, you want to get the most for your money.
You can check out the article and everything else in Consumer Reports by going to consumerreports.org. And Mike Quincy is on the car blog all the time. Mike, great to talk to you.
Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Thank you.
Mike Quincy from Consumer Reports at 7:25 at Rock 102.
Yeah, now we got...
It's 7:28 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown has the full forecast for you.
It's the Rock 102 Golf Club is back. It's brought to you by Swing Oil Beer for only $129. You can get golf at 7 different courses, 7 rounds of golf, less than $20 a round. Some great places like Keeney Park, Brattleboro, Northampton, and more. To find out all the information to purchase yours today, go to rock102.com. Makes a great gift for any golfer. It's the Rock 102 Golf Club, brought to you by Swing Oil Beer. Try the New England IPA, perfect for the golf course. And Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Get it before the tariffs kick in.
Come on now, that's not going to affect golf.
Because we don't get rubber or anything that goes into a golf ball or anything like that from any other country.
That's why $129 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And you got to want to get that now before things get crazy.
It's a gentleman's game.
It is a gentleman's game. With Bax and Nagle on Rock 102, it's time for news brought to you by Yankee Home Improvement. If you're thinking about a new walk-in shower system, call Yankee Home and mention Rock 102. Get $1,021 off plus 50% off installation all month long. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Here's some devastating news. More than 22,000 pounds of Johnsonville bratwurst is being recalled for possible plastic contamination. The USDA...
Stop. Just give me a moment here. All right, go on.
The USDA announced the recall of Johnsonville cheddar brats on Saturday.
The cheddar ones?
The cheddar, those are the best ones. The recalled products are 19-ounce sealed firm tray packages containing 5 pieces of Johnsonville brats, cheddar bratwurst. They have a establishment number 1647 on the front label, as well as a package code of B9FOD.
You know,
That's exactly the disease you'll get from eating plastic, the B9FOD.
Listen, I don't want to sound, ignorant here. It's really not my way. But because I love bratwurst so much, and considering the kinds of things that are in any sausage, really, are microplastics really so bad?
No.
What's worse?
Listen.
What would you rather have? A couple pounds of microplastics in your system, or like a pound of
hard plastic?
FDA-regulated rat hair and pig testicles.
FD09 or B9FOD.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd rather have the microplastics, to tell you the truth.
I'll tell you what, I'll eat a whole bunch of microplastics. So I'm not giving up my bratwurst.
Can you imagine how much stuff you actually consume every day that has plastics in it that go into your system? You cook with a non-stick pan. That cooks off into your food.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very little bits at a time. Isn't it? We were talking about PFAS and high fives.
High five!
High fives!
Listen, no one likes the idea of eating things that are not good for you, like bugs and rat's hairs and pig testicles and stuff like that.
But that's what makes a hot dog and a sausage.
Well, that's, what? It's collateral. It's the cost of doing business. You want to eat like a whole bunch of bratwurst at a tailgate party, you're going to have to expect at least a little bit of that stuff.
That's true. You're going to have to deal with the poison.
I used to eat a lot of that stuff.
What, the bratwurst?
Oh, my God, yes.
I wasn't never a big bratwurst fan.
Oh, I love it.
I like Italian sausage.
Italian sausages are good, but a good bratwurst on a grill that's been maybe parboiled in some beer and an onion, a couple of cloves of garlic, and then you put it on the grill till they split down the middle. Ooh, that's so good.
Do you ever have the Zonin sausage over there at
I have.
La Fiorentina?
Very good.
Very good.
Very, very good.
Where else can you get a good Italian sausage here in Springfield? I bet you Angelo Pupolo knows.
He knows where to get it here in Springfield.
Yeah, go get the Zonin sausage.
It's actually really good.
It is. I like the hot one. The spicy.
What do you think of the sausage, though?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
I just did there.
One man was arrested after a 2-car crash sent another man to the hospital Monday night in West Springfield. West Springfield police said just before 8 p.m., officers responded to the area of Memorial Avenue and Union Street, where a driver had to be extricated from his car and taken to Baystate with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Officers then turned their attention to the man who witnesses said allegedly ran a red light, causing the crash, 34-year-old Wesley Mendez of Alexandria, Virginia. He was non-responsive to their questions and was talking on his cell phone while with slurred speech. I don't know what's just happening here. Yeah, I think I just crashed a car. Mendez was charged with and is facing charges including operating under the influence of liquor, resulting in serious injury, failure to stop for a red light, negligent operation of a motor vehicle, and speeding. Imagine that you're on vacation from Virginia, or you're up here for work, or something that has drawn you to Springfield, Massachusetts from Virginia. Go out and have a couple of pops, and all of a sudden you're in some deep shiznit because you decided to drink and drive.
Sometimes it's just better just to drink at home and not leave.
See, I would be like taking a guy's license. I'm like, you're from Virginia? Is that where you're from? And then they kind of throw him off.
Yeah.
That's how you pass the sobriety test. I lived my entire life in Virginia.
I
You
think
ever smoked those cigarettes, Virginia Slims? We have a weird sense of humor here at the Bax and Nagle show.
we were talking to a friend of ours yesterday after the show. You and I had talked about this texting conversation that could never, ever possibly air on the radio. That was so vile and disgusting.
Yes.
He was the first person that we shared that conversation with.
Yeah.
And I think he laughed like out of politeness.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he thought it was pretty disgusting.
Like in his mind, he's probably going, this was way too out of line.
You two dudes came up with this?
I mean, he laughed, but you could tell it was like a nervous laughter, like he wasn't really participating in it.
Well, it was a peek at the man behind the curtain for him.
Two men behind the curtain.
Two men behind the curtain doing disgusting things with their cell phones by sending pictures back and forth of something that looked like a badly packed kebab. I'll leave it at that.
Even that's more information than I would have shared.
What are you talking about? We share penis pictures all the time.
Yeah, but not of our own.
No, but of like words. Hey, look, somebody wrote penis on this. Somebody drew a penis on the roof of this building.
Yeah, that's different than actually showing pictures of actual penises. We don't do that.
Well, maybe we need to start. I'll take one of my own. I'll send it to you.
No, I don't need to see that.
Are you sure?
I'm positive I don't need to see that.
A large number of FBI agents could be seen conducting some type of search at a Hadley home on Tuesday. Dozens of law enforcement vehicles were parked at Mitch's Marina across the street, and several more were seen in the driveway of 108 Hockenham Road. That's the Hockenham Tua girl lives there, I believe, and where the actual investigation was taking place. Western Mass News contacted the FBI, and they said that their evidence response team conducted a court-authorized activity. Beyond that, they have declined to comment at this time.
But yet, it's news without any information or any detail.
They also reached out to the Hadley Police Department, and they were told to go sit on a tack. We're not telling you nothing.
What was this? Is like, did Potsy tell you to go sit on it?
Well,
it sounds like go sit on it.
There's no information. Be an investigative reporter. Get out of the car. Start asking questions.
Ask any question.
Start being annoying to the FBI guy. They love that. You ever meet a federal agent who was like, "Oh yeah, I love the fact when reporters come and hand me a barrage of questions, even after I've told them." They're on a need-to-know basis, and right now they don't need to know.
Yeah, this is an active investigation, and we are under no obligation to give you any real information until we are through.
A traffic stop on Lenox Street in Pittsfield led to several traffic and gun violations on Monday. Police searched the vehicle and found an AR-15, and all four people in the car were between the ages of 16 and 18, making them ineligible to have the weapon. They were charged with operating to endanger due to their age. Their booking photos were not released. Whatever happened to, scoring beers under 21?
I don't know. Worst high school show and tell ever.
I was going to say, you can't... it was like, hey, I wound up showing that guy the thing of fake ID, and I got us a 12-pack of Keystone Light.
Ooh, that's the good stuff.
Oh, it is the good stuff. This guy's like, hey, I showed my ID, and I got an AR-15.
Still had to go through a 5-day waiting period, didn't he?
I guess they think he did. A man was placed under arrest after evading arrest in Southington, Connecticut back in early January. According to Southington police, officers were in the area of Queen Street trying to conduct a motor vehicle stop after a car was misusing their registration violation. But the driver didn't stop and began to speed while committing several moving violations, then entered I-84 eastbound. And on January 31st, police found a car that matched the description of the previous incident parked in the lot of the Groggy Frog.
The Groggy Frog.
That sounds like a highfalutin place. When officers saw the car, it was revealed that there were no occupants, but they could spot controlled substances in the vehicle. Police were able to obtain a search warrant and seizure warrant for the suspected vehicle, and they found 14.49 pounds of marijuana along with THC edibles and oils. An arrest warrant
For private use, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was used for distribution. Unless you're that high.
You got to really like getting high. If you got 14 pounds of weed in the car.
I was going to go to the Groggy Frog, but then I got high. An arrest warrant was granted for the driver in April, and he's been identified as 29-year-old Shaquem Correa of Waterbury. He's now charged with operating an unregistered motor vehicle, misuse of registration. How can you prove that the guy was in the car? Just because you own it doesn't mean that you were the one driving that car around.
Well, let that be your argument in court.
It could be. I'm serious.
It probably will be.
I mean, when you talk about evidence, you bring somebody in for a court case, the lawyer goes, Your Honor, my client was never even in the car. He might have been the owner of the registered owner of the vehicle, but he wasn't even in the car. Man, more people need to go to the Steve Nagle College of Criminal Knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to pay for a defense, even if that is your defense. And the only way you can afford that defense from an attorney is to sell 14 pounds of weed out of your car.
14.49 pounds of weed.
I stand corrected.
Pallbearers fell into their loved one's grave while carrying his casket at a cemetery in Philadelphia. Did you see this video?
No.
The incident was caught on camera. Pallbearers are seen carrying the casket of Benjamin Aviles, slowly making their way through Greenmont Cemetery in North Philadelphia last week as they put the casket down. You know when you walk up to the grave and they got the whole thing set up there?
Yeah.
You know, with the platform on top? As they put the casket down, the wood platform above the burial site collapsed, sending all of the pallbearers and the casket tumbling into the grave.
Were they hurt?
Avil's stepdaughter, Marbley, I don't know if any of them were hurt. I'm sure some of them were probably hurt. Avil's stepdaughter, Marbley Rodriguez, says she couldn't believe what happened. It was just a horrible incident, and that happened at a bad moment. Family and friends rushed to help the men climb out of the grave. Some who were trapped underneath the weight of the casket.
Oh, my God. That's why I'm asking if anyone's hurt. I mean, those things aren't exactly light.
The deceased son suffered the worst of the injuries. You imagine that? Hey, you want to be a pallbearer in your father's funeral? Yeah, sure. It can't be that hard. No. We got 5 other guys helping you.
Oh,
okay. The casket laid on top of him. He was out like a light. His face was in the mud. They got all the injured. They all got injured. They got hand and leg back injuries. We were just covered in mud. Rodriguez and her family blamed the cemetery for what they say was subpar conditions for a burial. The whole thing was trembling. It was like wobbly. It was unstable. It was all wet and soaked, said of the wood platform above the grave.
I just saw that now. That's because these are mostly old guys.
Yeah.
That are carrying this casket.
Except for the young man who was the guy's son.
Yeah,
trapped underneath. Aviles was eventually laid to rest, but the family wants an apology and a refund. I think that's fair.
Well, it's either that or a very expensive lawsuit.
I think they should apologize. I think there should be some reimbursement, being that the ceremony was interrupted. Nothing was done properly. The funeral home and the cemetery had no comment for a local news station. Meanwhile, it seems like none of the pallbearers' injuries are considered serious, including the son, and everyone involved is expected to be okay. But still.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
I thought about that when my mom passed away and we had to go to the cemetery. It just doesn't seem like you're talking about a hole in the ground, and they put that green turf down to make it look like it's grass. But if it's not.
But if it's been wet out or raining, I mean, you don't know the stability of the ground.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's like nine guys holding that casket all fall into a hole. That's terrible.
Yeah, but
that's awful.
The stories you'll have now.
Yeah, but I
remember when Ricky died?
I mean, you'll be the talk of the post funeral reception, no doubt, but still.
Your Pioneer Valley.
Awful.
Awful, but again, a good story to be told. Hey, remember in time when my uncle, we had his funeral and we all fell in the hole with him?
I wouldn't set this video to the Benny Hill theme song. That's for sure.
Well, you could. That would make it much better.
It makes every tragedy seem lighter.
You got to look at the positives, Bax.
I'm trying.
Yeah. You're too much doom and gloom.
Am I really?
Yes, you are.
Oh, my God.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today, going to be sunny with a high of 46. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 51. It's 29 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Aw, yeah.
Need a new bank? As a community bank with over
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:54 and Quiet Riot with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny today with a high of 46. It's 29 right now in downtown Springfield.
This week on Baxi's Musical Podcast, my guest is Lauren Molinaire, a Detroit rock legend who goes back all the way back to the 60s. His new band called Slam Denise is about to release their second album later this month called Wild and Restless. It's a lot of fun. But the stories this guy's got to tell about his career are amazing, including opening a disastrous opening up with Bob Seger, AC/DC, and Kiss, and Van Halen, and a lot of other great stories. Really cool interview. It's available on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the app. And it's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Do we have something to give away?
We do, in fact, have something to give away. At 52 Summer. We got some great shows coming up in the next couple of months. Vintage Skinnerd is going to be there on this weekend, the 12th. What is that, Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday, and we have a pair of tickets to give away right now. 10th caller.
I believe that's Angelo Pupolo's favorite band.
I love the Skinneds.
Whoa! Play that Freebird, huh?
I love those guys. Anyway, 10th caller right now at 293-1021 gets to go to see Vintage Skinnerd. That's vintage with a Y.
I once saw the real band back in '73, and Lou Monte opened for him.
Really?
You think Lou Monte opened?
I don't think that happened. I really don't. Anyway, good luck.
All right, good luck.
On Rock 102.
Everyone has a project they want to finish.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, remember last year when the UConn Huskies won the men's NCAA college basketball tournament for the second year in a row? Well, I certainly do. Back then, you had more than 15 people arrested for various illegal activities. You had everything. 3 counts of disorderly conduct, 4 counts of interfering with police, 1 count of reckless burning, 69 counts of forgery for fake IDs, 2 counts of reckless endangerment, and you had 16 people sent to the hospital. You know how many people were busted or injured after the UConn women won their 12th NCAA championship over the weekend? According to my exhaustive research, not one. Now, maybe some of you UConn fans have gotten used to all those victory celebrations over the years, but in my opinion, I think women's basketball is just as deserving as the same level of destruction of personal property and vandalism as anybody else. And the fact that such arrestable offenses are apparently only worth doing when the men are winning championships shows a certain level of misogynistic sexism that I personally find offensive. With the growth of women's basketball over the last couple of years, you would think that we'd all be willing to exercise our toxic masculinity for all of college sports, regardless of gender roles, but I guess that's not the case. Apparently, some of you UConn students have been spoiled by your success, even though the last time the UConn women won a championship was in 2016, 9 years ago, back when many of you graduating seniors were just 12 years old. Well, I'll tell you what. If any of my college sports teams won a championship, I'd be out setting trash receptacles on fire faster than you can say, hold my beer. I don't care if it's basketball, football, or field hockey, for crying out loud. Something's going to get lit up that night, and it wouldn't just have been me. Sure, there's still the victory parade celebration scheduled for Saturday, but at that point, I think it's just a little bit too late. Sure, many of you may get away with being drunk and disorderly, but by then, the moment will have passed and the impulse would be gone. And frankly, I think you folks should be ashamed of yourselves. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Steel, the orange and white workhorse. Get spring steel deals right now at Rocky's. Save $30 on a string trimmer. Get a steel backpack blower or a steel chainsaw. And there's a certified steel technician at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:09, and Guns N' Roses with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102.
It's going to be sunny today with a high of 46. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 51. It's 30 right now in downtown Springfield.
Let's see. Bob Kane Alves will be joining us a little bit later on this hour. We'll be talking about Bike Night. That's coming up very, very soon.
The three named biker.
Yes.
Bob Kane Alves.
That is correct.
I was mentioning this to you off the air, and I'm not. I wasn't there for this interaction. I'm not trying to besmirch a company, but it does pose a question of whether or not I should continue to make this purchase. Yesterday, my kid has the pictures taken for the softball team.
Right,
it's a company that's known throughout the area that comes and did the photos.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've shown you in the past, my kid, who is the apple that fell right next to the foot of the tree, likes to do. Yes, if we have that clip.
I hope I still have it. I'm not really.
I thought you kept it in there.
I believe I did.
Yeah.
I just give me a moment, then I'm sure I'll find it.
Likes to do goofy pictures, and I'm okay with that. I think that's fun. What fun is life if you're not going to be able to make something else fun? She does. Last year she did this whole thing where she's holding the bat in front of her face and she's making this weird look, and it's funny.
Yeah,
and it's a memorable picture to me. It's like, okay, well, this isn't just your average kid holding the bat in a batting stance. Type of thing. It's funny, and it's a conversation piece. It's
Let me tell you,
something
this kid's got moxie and is doing comedy at a good 12th grade level.
Oh,
something you got to be respectful.
Listen, this kid writes better material than me.
Yeah,
I've been stealing it from her.
You told us the other day about the whole thing in New York, right?
Yeah,
I got the audio from your video.
Yeah, so where the kid canceled and he had an illness and the concert was canceled, and this was the response.
Really, Maddox? On my dead mother's heavenly birthday? Really?
Yeah.
Classic.
So,
Classic.
That kid's going places. That's for sure. So anyway, she goes and she gets the picture taken yesterday.
Right.
And she wants to do this goofy stance thing. And apparently the photographer said, "No, I'm not doing that." As if I'm like, well, who's paying for this right now? I'm paying $29 or whatever for this package.
Sure, $29. When you're buying a single picture,
that's another thing. But actually, yes, it was a single picture,
and not even a frameable size.
No, I think you get like a 5x7, whatever the deal was. It was just the idea that we'd get the picture and we'd have the funny picture and all this other stuff. Now, I'm not there to, I don't know how the interaction completely went down. I'm getting secondhand information by the witness testimony of my 13-year-old saying that the man denied to do the pictures. So she did this regular type picture, and then she was kind of like upset that, wait a minute, I wanted to do this other one. I don't know why I can't do that. So then she had called me. This was after school. And she had called me, and I said, well, then go tell the guy you want the envelope back. Just like I can take it. With all these, do you really need a professional photographer at a school anymore? I can take a picture on an iPhone or even with borrowing somebody else's camera to take a picture of you doing a stance. We can have those pictures. It was just the idea that, hey, this is funny because it pops up. It's not like all the other pictures. You can do it.
I actually think this is an industry thing because I think a lot of these photographers are afraid that a parent is going to see a picture of a kid not taking his pose seriously.
Right.
And then there'll be complaints, and then all of a sudden there's a mess.
But they always have makeup days.
Right. And the reason I'm bringing this up is in college, I decided on picture day for the yearbook to take a picture that I thought captured my spirit, my Marquette spirit.
Yeah.
And I was told that I was not going to be allowed to use that in the yearbook.
Yeah, see that? I think that's crap because you're paying for something. You're paying for an extra service.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying for a yearbook on top of the fact that you're probably paying for the portrait, right?
Yeah. Well, ironically, because I didn't choose any of the other proofs, it did make it into the yearbook.
Oh, really?
But not without protest from the photographer.
And what was the picture? Do you have the picture?
I have it right there.
Oh, that's where you were putting I've seen that before. You put the pipe in your mouth.
I'm wearing a monocle and a pipe.
And why would they not want that in the... And that was the other thing that got me, because it wasn't like, it's not like this kid's giving the middle finger to the camera.
No.
I can understand there are certain things that you wouldn't want to be associated with as far as your photography business. Well, I'm not letting a kid do something like that. But, I mean, it's just a goofy picture. What's the big deal?
I don't understand it either. I mean, when I took this picture, I mean, obviously I'm mocking my my education by looking like I was a pseudo-intellectual when, in fact, I was about as far from it as possible.
Dumb as a box of rocks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, several semesters on academic probation. It seems to me I earned that. Anyway, but it's like... Yeah, what big deal is it for the photographer if your kid takes a picture, and because I mean ultimately the person who's going to get most upset would be the parent.
And like I said, I try to see things from both sides, and the idea that he doesn't want to get any guff by having somebody take a picture that he doesn't have the parent standing there saying the thing. So I just said, go back and get your envelope then, because if you're not going to be happy with the picture,
that's it.
Go do that. Now here's the other thing. I'm sure that and she's like, well, I really want the team picture anyway, because I guess it comes with a team picture.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, all right, but she went and asked for the envelope back, and the guy wouldn't give her the envelope back. That was the kind of thing that irked me a little bit, because it's like, well. If I don't want something that you won't provide,
then why should you be paying
for it? But again, I'm not there. I'm not there in this particular moment. I'm not there. I'm also getting, again, a secondhand story of how this whole thing went down. So I'm not really accusing anybody of having a different demeanor or anything. But I was a little annoyed yesterday, and frankly. I don't know why, if these parents we could all take pictures. Everybody's got a phone now. Everybody's got a camera. Let's just all take the pictures. One person buy the team photo, and then we all go to Walgreens and get copies for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. Put these school photography places out of business.
You know what happened?
That's my business plan.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But a lot of what happens now is like in a lot of like high school yearbooks.
Yeah,
you can submit your own picture. Like you don't have to have the school photographer do that. You could have somebody with an iPhone, take the picture, and then that's the one you submit. Kind of like that idea, to be honest.
I mean, I was enjoying the fact because it was a different company. When we were doing it for the rec baseball team, it was a completely different company than what this one is. So the guy was like, he didn't care because he knew he was getting his $29. That guy, he's like, whatever. If somebody complains about it, then we just retake the picture. It's not a big deal. It's a picture. How hard is it to take another picture if somebody complained about it?
I don't understand it. Like some people just don't have any sense of humor, and they don't understand that. Your kid is operating on a high level of comedic timing. To go back now, it's not as funny now.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess we're ordering the picture now with the regular stance.
Yeah, the one you don't want.
No, I want the goofy one.
You showed me the ones from last year.
They were hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
Maybe I should make a TikTok video about this. Huh?
You should.
What do you think?
That's exactly what you should do.
It just made me irritated. I wasn't angry about it. I was just irritated. The fact that, like, I'm paying for something. You should be able to do it the way I want you to do it.
You're more irritated now than the irritated parent who got a picture that they didn't want.
Right.
Because their kid wasn't taking it seriously.
Yeah, think about how many kids, come home with the pictures or they're like, oh, your hair wasn't right or this was that or whatever. I'm welcoming that.
was the
That's
best
what makes
pic-
life fun. You
Those
gotta
the-
have fun in your life.
Those are the best pictures any kid takes.
Yeah, have fun with your life. You don't have to be conformed to societal rules of this is how you take a school picture.
I'm going
Who
to tell you,
cares?
some of the worst pictures that I've ever taken in my life
Are the school photos.
were school pictures.
Yeah, I hated every single one of them.
You know, like I would say between like 4th and 9th grade.
Yeah.
That block of years, absolutely terrible pictures.
I remember when they came out with it, they finally started added lighting, like colored lighting to it.
Yeah.
You know, and then eventually as digital photography progressed, they started adding the backgrounds and the
the reflective moments one where there's actually 2 images of your kid's face. One's looking in the background, like all you know, like they're thinking a lot.
How was that acceptable? But my kid can't make a goofy face while she's taking a softball photo.
Yeah. How come my kids' like teeth look like piano keys? Because they're teething, but then that's okay.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
What was the one joke that I heard? I don't know if it was Anthony Jeselnik who was going to start a school photography company called School Shootings. Not a bad idea.
Not a great one either. It's a little tough. It's 8:22 in Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:29 and Aerosmith with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you because he's way better at it than I am.
Bob Kane Alves is going to be joining us a little bit later on this hour. We're going to talk about Bike Night. It's coming back, and he'll tell you all the details about it in just a few minutes.
Bikes. Boom, boom. Are we going to play Born to be Wild or
you want
something?
You want Born to be Wild?
Yeah.
All right, I can probably find that somewhere.
Can we tell him motorcycle jokes? You know, like the what's the similarity between, or what's the difference between a Hoover vacuum cleaner and a Harley Davidson?
The location of the dirt bag.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Love that one.
You know, I gotta say, because people are out riding bikes right now, you gotta be on the lookout because you're not used to it. Your brain isn't used to it. I refer to that show Brain Games all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they say, look twice, save a life thing, that's a real thing because your brain isn't trained to see motorcycles. Your brain is automatically trained to see cars.
Right. And then, but then, sometimes though, but it's not for nothing. Sometimes these bikers get a little bit of rambunctious out there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think the more rambunctious bikers, I saw a guy who was like speeding around up at the mall the other day.
Yeah.
And then he finally, and I see him, he was like, through the parking lot on one of those little, what are they, ninjas they're called?
Right.
The high-speed bikes. And then when I'm walking back to my car, he's there talking to his buddy about, the bike and how cool it is. And all I could think of was like, wow, hey, you're going to wind up memorialized on the rear windshield of a vehicle soon.
Gonna be a
Just
lot of
the
stuff.
way you drive.
Gonna be a lot of flowers and stuffed teddy bears around that light pole that you're gonna hit.
But the more I'm out on the road, the more I realize it's not just people who drive like a-holes too.
Oh yeah,
it's flipping a car. Did you see that car on Western Mass News with the truck flipped up onto the light pole?
Yes, I did see that.
It's like, how fast do you need to go? The need for speed, and then you talk about the guys on the motorcycles. It's usually those guys on those high speed ones, the Ninja, whatever, Kawasaki's or whatever they are.
Right.
They're zigzagging in and out of traffic, and do you just not care?
I don't know, but I can tell you this.
Yeah.
Bob Kane Alves is going to talk about Bike Night.
But that's fine.
Celebrate bikes and fun.
We can talk it, but in a safe manner.
Hey, listen, I'm pretty sure they're not doing any Evel Knievel stuff at these bike nights.
Crotch rocket, that's what they're called.
It's 8:32. News is next to Rock 102. Here's 8:35 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-in bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. The Springfield Police Department is continuing its crackdown on illicit behavior at Union Station with a string of arrests over the past week related to drug possession, trespassing, and disturbances. The enhanced enforcement follows growing concerns from Union Station management and the Pioneer Valley Transit Authority over illegal activity in and around the transportation hub. The collaborative initiative includes officers from the Springfield Police C3 units. Was that C3PO?
Yes.
And extra detail patrols working in coordination with Union Station Security and Amtrak Police. The increased presence is aimed at curbing incidents of drug activity, loitering, and violence, including a recent shooting that resulted in 2 arrests. According to Ryan Walsh, on Monday, March 31st at around 12:50 p.m., officers working in extra detail were alerted to possible drug activity in the Union Station bathrooms. When officers approached the area, a man identified as Jesus Marin, 37, attempted to leave on foot, pushing past officers and discarding a backpack. Another individual, Isaiah Kenny, attempted to retrieve the backpack and claim ownership despite being instructed not to touch it. No, that's mine. That's mine.
What is this, Dora the Explorer all of a sudden? We're all worried about a backpack?
Yeah. Handgun, map, Rocky Mountain. A search of the bag uncovered 3 half-packs of heroin, roughly 150 bags, 2 vials of crack cocaine, and liquid methadone. But that's my everyday methadone. That's not for distribution.
Now, how would Dora the Explorer explain the contents of that backpack? In this case,
boots.
Heroin.
Why do you think she had a monkey on her back the whole time? She had a problem.
I know. You don't want Swiper swiping that stuff out of the train station.
Yeah, that's what they told this guy. They're like, Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Oh, man. Marin was found with 31 additional vials of crack cocaine, powder cocaine, 5 more bags of heroin, and $5,400 in cash. Kenny, who had previously been trespassed by Amtrak police, was arrested for returning to the property and was also found to have an outstanding warrant for shoplifting. On Wednesday, April 2nd, officers arrested Jesse Bluto.
Popeye.
Yeah. Bluto had been identified as the previously unknown third individual involved in the March 31st incident. He was found in possession of 5 bags of heroin, a crack pipe, hypodermic needles, and was trespassed from the property. The previous day, officers on foot patrol observed 2 17-year-olds smoking marijuana. Inside Union Station. That's not the worst thing you can find inside Union Station.
Actually,
right
it's
now.
not.
Both had previously been involved in disturbances at the property and were arrested for trespassing. Later that evening, officers encountered Michael Rivera of Springfield, who was found in possession of 7 bags of PCP and taken into custody. Talk about a drug buffet down there.
It really is.
You got crack, cocaine, methamphetamine, PCP. What else you got? Marijuana.
Chuck's Chewables, Flintstone vitamins. What else we got down there?
Well, they're Flintstone kids. They're building strong and growing.
I see. That makes a lot of sense.
The operation reflects our department's commitment to keeping Union Station safe for all the employees, general public, yada, yada, yada. Through partnerships with local agencies, we are addressing concerns from both management and commuters about the illegal activity. You know, they all look like fine, upstanding young men.
Don't judge a book by its cover. You never know which school photographer took the pictures.
Let's see. Where is Bluto?
You sure it's not Blotto?
No, it's B. Yeah, I'm blottoed.
Blotto.
No, it's Bluto.
Bluto.
And yeah, you know what? He's a ginger. He has no soul.
Let's not judge a book by its cover, Steve.
Suffers from gingivitis.
Stop it.
That's what happens. Hey, man, this is all I got. Look at me.
There are plenty of people who have red hair who do not involve themselves in soulless activities.
But most of them do, and that's what this guy's doing. He's involving himself in soulless activities because they don't have any manners. They don't have any. If you have no soul, you don't have the wherewithal to do the right thing.
Well, I would argue against that, Steve. By the way, I've been to Union Station, not to do a drug deal, but for the purposes of transportation. It is, after all, the transportation hub of Springfield. I didn't feel any less safe because I took a train out of Springfield than any other part of the city.
Well, maybe it's a new thing since you've been there.
I don't think so. It wasn't that long ago.
It's the old country drug buffet. Now, take all you want, but eat all you take.
It's tempting. Real tempting.
You ever leave anything in an Uber?
No.
You know, I was thinking about this. Because of this story, you know, the Big E every year, they show you the list of all the things that people left behind.
Right.
And Uber does this. It releases its annual Lost and Found Index that looks at all the stuff that were left behind in ride shares last year. But, I mean, I can see people leaving stuff behind at the Big E is something they bought and they put it down because they had too many beers and then they stumbled out of there and they're like, oh, I forgot that buffalo head that I bought in the Young Building. But they released this list from Uber, and the most common things people forgot are the usual suspects: phone, wallet, keys, luggage, headphones.
Right.
But their most unique list is where the real action's at. They shared a list of 50 oddball things that people forgot in Ubers last year. Here's a highlight: mannequin head with human hair.
That's a little creepy.
A Viking drinking horn.
Again, that'd be something you'd want to take with you.
A chainsaw. A turtle.
A live one?
Yeah.
Interesting.
A urinal. Now, I had to look this up. They weren't talking about like
a hospital urinal.
Not like the jug that you get. Not the American standard that somebody ripped off a wall.
The one that looks like a plastic beer stein.
Yeah. Shrek ears.
Yep.
2 mattresses.
How do you fit a mattress into a Uber?
Again, it's probably
an Uber.
Yeah, but not only how do you fit one in there, but even if you had it, those foam ones that they roll up and they package them.
But even
in a box.
that's going to take up the whole back seat,
right? So how would you forget that?
You imagine? I mean, how embarrassing must it be? Like you're a guy one day, you're at work, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you discover a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the greatest medical discovery in history. But then you take an Uber back home and you leave it in the Uber.
Ooh.
Imagine that.
Imagine
You're
that.
kicking yourself in the pants. And you'll never get that. You'll never get that recipe again.
A DNA testing kit.
I want to bring those along with me.
You know what? We were going to do the whole family 23andMe thing tonight by spitting into these tubes. And now we can't because Bobby left it in the Uber.
He left all those spit tubes in the car.
Someone got in touch looking for a photo they took at a Benihana.
All right.
Hard-boiled eggs.
Ew, don't want to do that bad. Leave that behind.
Cornish hens. 10 live lobsters.
How do you forget that?
You have to be drunk.
You have to be.
Something has to. You have to be under the influence. And Ozempic. Somebody left Ozempic in the back of the car.
Considering how expensive those things are, I wouldn't leave that behind.
I'm surprised redheads weren't on the list. Usually leave them soulless people in the back.
I always take my redheads with me.
Right. Your Pioneer Valley... Some you'd like to forget. At least I would. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today... Going to be sunny with a high of 46 and it's 30 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:52, and Allison Chains of Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny and a high of 46 today. Perfect bike weather. And here with the head of the Sons of Insecurity, it's Bob Kane Alves.
Sons of Ibuprofen.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So, Destination Bike Night is about to kick off again. This is like maybe the biggest one you've had ever in 11 years. I can't even believe it's been that long.
Yeah, season 11. We have added 2 new locations that we are now every week. We are 21 weeks. We have 2 new locations. Of course, our original location was the Agawam Polish Club. We were over at the Knights of Columbus on Granby Road in Chicopee and the Invents on Montgomery Road in Chicopee. But we added this year, the Ludlow Elks are coming back. They haven't been with us since before the pandemic. And the Springfield Elks are jumping on board. So we'll be rotating between all 5 of those. We got some great bands. Some of our, of course, local favorites who are with us every year. We got some bands that are coming back that haven't been with us for 5 or 6 years. Trailer Trash is returning to our stage.
What? I've never heard of that before.
Now they're going to be at the Springfield Elks on June 19th.
Yep.
Good. That'll be a great night.
Oh yeah, and of course, Coltrane. We got Beyond Purple with Jimmy Bell and Mike Gill. Some great local national talent there. But this has been a great undertaking all winter long. We kick off next week. At the Agawam Polish Club, the 17th. Mm-hmm. It's $5 at the gate. You get live music, vendors. There's food. There's beverage for your,
They're actually a really good time. I mean, even if you don't ride a bike, you can go out there and still enjoy the festivities.
No, I got to tell you, it's every week we get anywhere from 5, 6, 7, 800 bikes, and we still got 200, 300, 400 cars. This is basically it's live music and motorcycles. If you like either, this is where you want to be on a Thursday night. Shows are early. If you work the next morning, we're done at 9 o'clock. We're 6 to 9. So if you're working early, you can get, you're out of there and home.
Now, one of the things that you are doing this year, and this is pretty interesting, at the Bike Night After Party.
Yes, every time that we do a Chicopee Bike Night over either at the Knights of Columbus or the Invets, afterwards we have some of our local acoustic acts who will be over at the Rumble Seat for our Bike Night after parties. That kicks off at 8 o'clock from 8 to 11. They got half-price apps all night, so I know after a bike night, I'm hungry. I've been working all day, so I go down there, grab some food, listen to some acoustic music. So we got some of the great bands from the area playing the bike nights, and then some of our great acoustic acts heading over to the Rumble Seat when we're in our Chicopee Bike Nights.
Oh, cosplay night at the Rumble Seat. Yeah, wear your leather vest and your helmet and come on over.
I'm sure Billy was a real tough sell on that.
Oh, no.
Billy, we'd like to bring people to your bar on a Thursday night. I couldn't possibly.
I don't know about that.
I did tell. This is our 3rd season with Billy.
Yeah.
It's been a great relationship with him. Yeah. It's been, giving some of our other acoustic acts an opportunity to get on stage.
Yeah. Now, you said it's 21 weeks?
21 weeks.
Now, how long has it normally been in previous years?
Past few years, since 2020, it's been every other week. We usually get about 11.
Yeah.
Wow.
Prior to that, I think our most was 18.
But now they've become so popular, and you want to keep doing them. The only issue that you might run into is obviously the weather. How do you handle that?
Well, we just cancel those nights.
Yeah.
And then we're back next week. It was tougher when we were every other week, but now that we're every week, we just missed that week. We come back next week. It's that simple. Unfortunately, we have to do it.
What about a bike night at a dinner and a comedy show for $20?
There we go.
Over at the shortstop.
I don't know if they allow motorcycles in Westfield. Do they?
I think they do.
Do they?
They do.
I'll be damned. How
They
about
do.
that?
Yeah,
How
right
about
around
that?
the potholes.
Now, that's Holyoke now.
Oh, yeah,
That's some evil Knievel stuff right there.
Oh, yeah.
But just, I was kind of mentioning it before. Let's talk a little bit about bike safety because obviously you were involved in an accident years ago.
Yes. Actually, we were just talking about that. It's been 13 years ago.
That's crazy how long that's been.
Yeah.
And you were telling us about how our reaction when we had to report that you had been in an accident.
Yeah.
And it was a news story.
And while as a rider you have your responsibility as far as being a thing, but for other people out there who are just driving a car, I was saying this before. I saw this on this episode of Brain Games years ago, where they're showing you that you don't recognize. Because everybody's so used to looking for a car coming your way that you don't necessarily recognize a bike is headed your way. And how many times have you seen accidents happen where it's somebody usually pulling out of somewhere?
One of the most common motorcycle accidents is actually a left-hand turn.
Oh, somebody taking a
always,
left-hand.
Always a left-hand turn. So,
you mean with the oncoming motorcycle coming the opposite direction?
And the first thing that they say out of their mouth is, "I didn't see him."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Careful.
That's usually the first thing they say.
So it's not when you see those stickers that say "Look twice, save a life," that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. A lot of what I notice is it's the cell phones nowadays that are the biggest problem. Distracted driving.
Yeah.
We see a lot of people. They're texting. They're doing whatever. It's on their phone.
I thought you meant the bikers. I'm like, how do you text and drive a motorcycle at the same time?
You need a third arm.
Yeah,
I've seen a few guys do it.
Yeah, I know.
And I usually just let them go, 5 or 6 miles ahead of me.
Yeah.
So
you did mention that you had a pretty big announcement too.
Yes.
This is very cool.
So before I do that, I just want to make sure we have a new sponsor this year as well. We want to thank them for coming on board. Trantolo and Trantolo has joined us to help us bring a larger presence to our bike nights this year. So thank you, Trantolo and Trantolo. So we do have something I've been working on for the past few months, along with the American Legion. Throttle Rocker Nation in 2026 will bring back the return of the Holyoke Soldier Home Run.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So it's been 2019 was the last year it ran. So 2026 we will bring it back. As I said, along with the American Legion district of the American Legion in this area, all the Hampden counties.
And that was a good size run too.
Usually, I think their last one they did was like 1,500 bikes.
Wow!
But they raise a lot of money for the soldiers that are at the home. And I know that this year, or once they open it up after construction, they're going to have more of our soldiers there taking care of them. So they're going to need more things. They're going to need, what we raise money for.
We'll definitely keep us posted about that one.
Oh, yeah. We'll keep you up to date.
Awesome. And, of course, Destination Bike Night kicks off on April 17th next week. Next Thursday night, Black Cadillac is the band, the Agawam Polish Club.
Yeah.
And, again, if someone wanted to find out all the information, the total lineup of what's coming up this summer, what should they do?
You can go on DestinationBikeNight.com, or you can find us on our Facebook group, Destination Bike Night.
Very good.
Bob Kane, Alps, great to see you.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. It's 9 o'clock on Rock 102.